Beth Jones.
And I'm Peter Dubois. First tonight, jury selection begins tomorrow in the trial of a Lincolnville man charged with murder.
47-year-old Matthew Pendleton is accused of killing his friend and roommate Kevin Currit in January of last year. Waldo County deputies found Currit's body on the Thorndike Road in Lincolnville after Pendleton allegedly reported it himself. At a previous court date, deputies said when they responded, they found blood on a camper and on the floor. Pendleton's trial is scheduled to begin following jury selection.
A New York man was sentenced today in U.S. District Court in Portland for distributing fentanyl through the U.S. Postal Service. 49-year-old Tyler Dean will serve 24 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. According to court records, in June of 2020, Dean shipped an envelope via USPS Priority Mail Express from the Schenectady, New York area to a residence in Rockland, Maine using an alias. Text and Facebook messages confirmed Dean mailed the envelope and knew he was sending a controlled substance, but did not know the identity of the substance he shipped. Lab tests confirmed the envelope contained fentanyl. The package's recipient and their spouse died of accidental overdoses the day that package arrived.
Well, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office is investigating an incident in Carmel. Details remain few and far between, but it happened around 4 o'clock this afternoon on the main road. Route 2 by the Dyer Road was shut down for a while there. There are reports one person was taken to the hospital. We will bring you any additional information as it becomes available.
Members of area fire departments say they're struggling to find qualified applicants to fill their full-time openings. Our Grace Blanchard spoke with members of the Lincoln Fire Department about the hiring challenges they face.
And every day when we climb on that truck, we're prepared for the worst.
Over the weekend, firefighters from the Lincoln Fire Department rescued 2 people from a burning home in Chester. Members of the department say these heroic efforts happened despite it being a time of day where they have few people on staff.
Time of the call, we were fully staffed with the numbers that we normally have. There was a paramedic and 3 firefighters.
Firefighters say there's been a declining interest in the field over the last few decades.
There's other parts of the country it's not quite as bad, but here for some reason it's become very hard to find people that are interested in doing it.
Some firefighters attribute the lack of interest to the grueling training and long hours at the station.
I myself retired a few years ago and decided to get back into it. I saw a need up here.
Members of the department say they have learned to adapt by relying heavily on mutual aid from area towns and on-call staff.
The town has really supported our mission. They've expanded our staffing. They've purchased some new ambulances and lots of EMS supplies.
With around 20 full-time staff members and roughly 2,000 calls a year, they hope to encourage more people to join their team and the industry.
And we'll train you. The department will train you. It's a job full of pride and history, and it's incredibly fulfilling.
More information on how to apply can be found on foxbangor.com. In Lincoln, Grace Blanchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Maine's business leaders got an update on a plan for Maine to become 100% reliant on clean electricity by 2040. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard has the story.
What is unique about Maine is really our energy challenges are very specific to Maine, with our high consumption of heating oil, significant existing clean energy resources. And this modeling is specific to the state of Maine.
In 2019, Governor Mills signed bipartisan legislation that set a requirement for Maine to use 80% renewable energy by 2030 and a target of 100% by 2050. Last year, that plan was expedited to include a target of 100% by 2040, 10 years earlier.
We are in the latter part of this work. We've been doing it since the fall of last year, and excited to present to you all some of the findings and results and opportunities for input.
According to the Governor's Energy Office, renewable energy technology has advanced in recent years, that we would be able to supply a majority of our current energy usage with renewable energy. In 2024, Maine will cross the threshold of using more than 50% of its electricity from renewable sources. Patrick Woodcock from the Maine State Chamber of Commerce says it's important for business leaders to be aware and engaged in the energy plan.
Although all modeling is only as good as the assumptions, it really is extremely valuable as we start thinking about our priorities. This really is directionally important. Technology continues to be disruptive to our assumptions, but it really does create an important baseline of where are the priorities going to be over the next 15 to 20 years.
The Governor's Energy Office hopes to finalize the recommendations and present it to the Governor sometime this year. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
The window has now closed for Mainers to weigh in on a proposal that seeks to limit sales of gas-powered vehicles in the state. The Maine Board of Environmental Protection is seeking to adopt rules requiring 43% of new vehicles sold in Maine to be zero emission by the 2027 model year. The rule would also increase the requirement to 82% by model year 2032. Mainers had until 5 p.m. to weigh in. The proposal is facing pushback from Maine Republican lawmakers who say consumers should be able to choose whatever vehicles they want to purchase. House Republican leader Billy Bob Falkingham saying in a statement, quote, "Despite claims by environmental extremists, this rule destroys consumer choice and will increase prices for the new and used vehicles people actually want to drive," end quote. Currently, there are 13 other states that have adopted similar regulations for phasing out gas-powered vehicles.
Well, the Orono Town Council has apologized to the Penobscot Nation following recent backlash over a change of the town's gateway signage. The old sign prominently features the town's seal, a side profile of Penobscot Chief Joseph Orono with a headdress. The new sign incorporates an outline of the same seal behind the Welcome to Orono text. This change came last year, with conversations about updating the sign actually starting back in 2019. The town's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee was involved in the process, and it recommended making signs with Penobscot language or redesigning the seal. Despite recommendations, Orono officials decided to move forward with the new design. The council also failed to consult with the Penobscot Nation Council, a decision which violated the town's 2021 resolution to honor and acknowledge the Wabanaki tribes.
We felt really ignored, that we felt devalued, and that our history, even in this area, was slated to be terminated.
The council has since sent a letter to the Penobscot Nation apologizing for its mistakes. The letter mentions the town is willing to return to its original signage or work with the Penobscot Nation to design a new one. The council also set aside $50,000 dedicated to signage redesign, cultural consultation, and future projects celebrating Penobscot presence in Orono.
Mainers impacted by the December 17th storm now have longer to deal with their taxes. Following the disaster declaration issued by FEMA, people that live in or have businesses in affected areas now have until June 17th to file returns and pay any taxes that were originally due. People in Androscoggin, Franklin, Hancock, Kennebec, Oxford, Penobscot, Piscataquis, Somerset, Waldo, and Oxford counties all qualify for that tax relief.
Well, taking a peek outside, this afternoon didn't feel all that bad, but I have to tell you, it is taking a chilly turn outside.
It certainly has,
yeah.
But yeah, the sunshine helping things feel a little bit more moderate out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely a pretty balanced day when it came to that.
Yeah. Well, we have a little bit more with a first check of our forecast on what's coming our way this evening.
All right, Beth, thank you. Happy Monday. Wind gusts near 30 miles per hour again today. Will begin to come down tomorrow, but until then, we're going to have feel-like temperatures tonight hanging out in the single digits across the area again. After highs today barely hit 30, most places didn't. 29 here in Bangor, 29 also for Millinocket. Tomorrow will be a little bit warmer, highs back in the low 30s. There are some clouds out there now, a few flurries earlier as well. Not a big deal. The bigger deal is the wind and cooler temperatures, but that is all going to begin to shift this way beginning tomorrow, and we do have warmer temperatures in the 5-day forecast. Until then, though, still windy into Wednesday morning, thus a small craft advisory for wave heights out here approaching 8 to 10 feet into early parts of Wednesday. Tonight, looking at mostly cloudy skies, partly cloudy skies tonight with low temperatures down in the 20s. Your full forecast is coming up. Beth?
And we are looking forward to the full forecast.
Yes, we are.
All right, well, still to come on Fox 22 News at 10. Some tenants of the Portland Housing Authority have had to relocate after a serious mold problem was discovered.
And the school year is drawing to a close, meaning big changes for high school seniors. Our Doug Banks will show us how Winslow High School is taking a different approach to preparing their students for their futures. Those stories and more when we come right back.
You come to a credit union to work because you actually like helping people.
You get to be a part of really life-changing moments.
It builds a really rewarding professional career.
And that's why I like credit unions.
We're lucky to live in Maine. We have a wealth of natural resources, hardworking people, and time for the things that matter. Mechanical Services is all about Maine, with energy efficiency that protects our environment and helps businesses grow. Preventive maintenance and energy solutions that save money. How Maine is that? Mechanical Services. We're everywhere you are in Maine.
I told myself I was okay with my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis symptoms, with my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. But just okay isn't okay, and I was done settling.
If you still have symptoms after a TNF blocker like Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq is different and may help. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can rapidly relieve joint pain, stiffness, and swelling in RA and PSA, relieve fatigue for some, and stop joint damage. And in PSA, can leave skin clear or almost clear.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin, heart attack, stroke, and GI tears occurred. People 50 and older with a heart disease risk factor have an increased risk of death. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq.
And take back what's yours.
AbbVie could help you save.
Tuesdays, big names go head-to-head.
I can name that tune in one note.
Whoa! Celebrity Pack Name That Tune. Only Tuesdays on Fox.
You couldn't ask for a better group of people when you're working at a credit union.
When I first started out, everyone was super welcoming.
There's a lot of focus with the community.
It builds a really rewarding professional career. It's just a wonderful place to work.
Hello, I'm Emma Smith, and coming up on Good Morning Maine, the latest from Augusta on Maine's energy plan, on what legislators plan to change before 2040. And we'll hear the latest from Acadia National Parks Advisory Committee about last year's numbers and how they plan to adapt in the new year. These stories, as well as any breaking news, coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Some tenants in Portland are forced to move after discovering their apartments have a serious mold problem. Asia Reed was in Portland and spoke with residents. She has more.
I noticed that a few weeks ago, and I did report it, and they were going to do something about it.
There's mold covering parts of Florence Pooler's bathroom.
Mold is very dangerous for anybody. Well, I have emphysema.
These are low-income housing units owned by Portland Housing Authority. Executive Director Brian Frost says half of them are infested with mold. Though all tenants will be relocated just to be on the safe side. He says poor building design makes it prone to leaking and mold, which has been there for a few months now.
Due to the really unprecedented rainfall that we've received in the last 3, 4, 5 months, particularly the last 3 months, I think the water is able to travel into that area and create the conditions for this.
Frost says most residents have already been moved into different Portland Housing Authority units in the area. The work they have to do is extensive, and they're trying to figure out how to best tackle the issue. Frost says they're unsure yet if they'll take down the whole building or not.
Certainly if we reoccupy the units, we've got to abate whatever growth is there. We've got to identify the water leaks.
The building's property manager, Baba Lai, says in a statement, quote, "When I reported to my supervisor, they asked me to have maintenance staff wipe it down and paint over it. I asked for support to find durable solution instead of just wiping it off and painting, but I was not given that option." Frost says there was one tenant that they failed to move out in a timely manner.
We take full responsibility for not acting on that timely, and it's not a condition that we would want anyone to be, living in.
That was Asia Reed reporting. Meanwhile, right now, in-person absentee voting is underway for Maine's presidential primary coming up on March 5th. And former President Trump is still on the ballot. Johnny Maffei breaks down the Republican primary ballot now.
Well, in-person absentee voting began at 8:30 this morning here at Portland City Hall for Maine's presidential primary coming up a month from today. And what Secretary of State Shanna Bellows, Director of Communications, told me is she made it clear that if you cast your vote and then Trump is disqualified, that's your vote. You do not get another ballot. Let's pull up a sample ballot from the Secretary of State's website. You can see here we have the two candidates still in the race, Donald Trump and Nikki Haley. Also seen here are former candidates, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Ryan Binkley. They've all dropped out, but it was after primary ballots were printed in Maine, which was 70 days before March 5th. If Trump is disqualified from the ballot, the primary is ranked choice, so if Trump is in first, the candidate in second place would then move up to first, and if no candidate is at 50%, Trump voters' second choice votes will then be counted, which could get interesting. Now, looking ahead to Thursday, the U.S. Supreme Court has a hearing for the Trump ballot situation in Colorado. Once there is a decision in that case, Secretary Bellows will then reissue a ruling. So if you want to wait for the Trump decision to come down before you cast your vote, well, you can hold on to your ballot, but Secretary Bellows' office wants you to make sure that you get that ballot in by March 5th at 8 p.m.
And that was Johnny Maffei reporting. Well, as the end of the academic year, or the academic calendar rather, draws nearer, seniors are preparing for the next chapter in their lives. One program at Winslow High School is helping students take a different approach to that process. Our Doug Banks explains.
I feel like the thing I struggled the most with senior year is learning how to do things the disciplined way and just making yourself more disciplined for the future.
As graduation approaches for Winslow High School seniors, they also look towards what follows after.
Right now, we're hitting the point where most students are finding out if they got into a school. Some are starting to see the payment that's going to be required. It's a little scary.
Although it looks like another corkboard glued to the wall of another hallway, instead, it's filled with opportunities.
Most of my schools are pretty expensive, so just like being guided on what would be the best choice.
Just across the hall, they type away at applications and grants, but just as the name College and Career Cafe suggests, the process is done a little differently.
She gives you information with like different colleges that have different programs, and it's also in a really comfortable environment.
With beanbags instead of chairs, a dartboard on the wall, and an espresso machine on the counter, Morin says it's important to cultivate a welcoming environment while also making stressful work engaging.
I challenge them to a race whether the cookies will be done quicker than their application. A stress reduction from the big bad world, and it's okay to come in here and say, this is scary stuff.
And students are thankful they have a place to work together.
It definitely helps just having like your source and like obviously like supportive friends too, but it definitely helps to have someone by your side.
In Winslow, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Mail is pouring into the McGraw School in Hamden, where a group of students there are participating in Hearts Across the U.S. As part of the project, Mrs. Bouchard's second grade class is trying to collect Valentine's Day cards or postcards from every state in the nation. Each time they receive a card, the students place a heart sticker on their classroom map, indicating which state that card was mailed from. Thus far, they've received mail from more than 30 states, and on Monday, the students were thrilled to get cards from the states of Alaska and Hawaii.
We're trying to get like hearts from every single state, and we have a lot, and we just need a little bit more.
Well, there are just 11 states the class has yet to hear from, including New Mexico, Montana, and Kansas. They're hoping to get cards from those remaining states by Valentine's Day. So if you know anyone maybe living in those states, give them a call, tell them to send a card.
Send some cards to some really cute kids here in Maine.
Absolutely.
All right, well, coming up on the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22, Hamas has reemerged in territory captured by Israel on the Gaza Strip, with both parties to conflict souring on an Egyptian and Qatari brokered peace deal.
And the Senate released a bipartisan $118 billion spending plan, which addresses both the southern border and funding for Ukraine and Israel. But House Republicans say it's dead on arrival. We'll have those stories coming right up.
Jerry's Used Cars has been a family-owned business for more than 30 years, currently in Corinna and Vesey. However, we have changed a little as we are no longer just a buy here, pay here dealership. We now have access to outside financing and also carry utility trailers. We would be happy to assist you with your next vehicle purchase. And don't forget, here at Jerry's Used Cars, we offer an extended warranty. So give us a call at either our Corinna or Vesey location.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Let your creativity run free at the Creative Arts Center, where we offer fun and affordable activities for all ages. Birthday parties, pottery wheel classes, painting lessons, or just for the fun of it. Get fired up for glazing projects as well as acrylics. We offer a wide selection of ceramic products for you to choose from, and we have thousands of pieces ready to paint. We are a Paragon kiln dealer and a Laguna Clay distributor. Stop by the Creative Arts Center today, located just off the Joshua Chamberlain Bridge in Brewer. The Creative Arts Center, where your only limitation is your imagination.
Hello, fellow flyers. I'm the Savvy Traveler, here to share the secrets of convenience at Bangor International Airport. Parking, you're steps away from the terminal. Inside, even more conveniences. And friendly, efficient security. All of these make BGR the official airport of you. Remember, the savvy travel through Bangor International Airport. Flybangor.com.
Ready? Let's duel. It's the biggest game show ever created.
Let's go!
81 contestants in a trivia duel.
Terminator. Jerry Maguire.
Until only one survives.
Pass. Let's light it up.
From the creators of The Voice and Big Brother.
Who will conquer the floor?
The Floor, all new Tuesdays on Fox.
Put a little more cash in your bank. Save money with half-off deals at foxbangor.com.
There's one number you need to know. It's called Joe.
In Gaza, Hamas has started to reemerge in some of the most devastated areas after Israeli forces pulled back. It's an indication Israel's central goal of crushing that terrorist group could take longer than expected. Fox's Mike Tobin has more from Tel Aviv.
The fighting is raging on in Khan Yunis. Israeli forces have been trying for weeks to clear the area, but Hamas is putting up a stronger than expected resistance. And further north, the militant group is starting to reemerge in areas around Gaza City after the IDF pulled back. They're now slowly reasserting control, claiming they're simply trying to help civilians injured and displaced by the Israeli offensive.
This Nazi occupation has not stopped from committing the ugliest crimes and massacres at the expense of unarmed civilians, mostly women, children, and the elderly.
But that's not stopping Israel. Officials here say despite the northern resurgence, they're committed to seeing the offensive move forward, claiming it's still possible to end the Hamas threat using military force. Israeli tanks and helicopters now staging for the final phase of the offensive in southern Gaza.
We will not give up. We will not end the war without achieving this goal of absolute victory, which will restore security to both the south and the north.
And hopes of a diplomatic breakthrough are fading. Neither Hamas or Israel appears to be willing to accept the latest ceasefire proposal by Egypt and Qatar. The main sticking points, the release of hostages and the creation of a Palestinian state.
We're going to continue to work with the Israelis to end this conflict as soon as possible. And we continue to feel strongly that a two-state solution is that solution.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is visiting the Mideast this week. That ceasefire proposal is the top of his agenda. In Tel Aviv, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
The Biden administration says the U.S. intends to continue launching strikes against Iranian-backed groups in the Middle East. Those groups staging new attacks against American forces earlier today. Fox's chief national security correspondent Jennifer Griffin has the latest from the Pentagon.
There have been at least 2 new attacks by Iranian proxy groups in Syria since Friday night's airstrikes, when a pair of U.S. B-1 bombers took off from Texas, joining other U.S. warplanes in striking 85 targets at 7 locations in Iraq and Syria. The most recent attack involved a single rocket fired this morning toward a U.S. base in Syria. It caused no damage or casualties. Sunday, an Iranian-made drone landed several kilometers from a U.S. base in northeast Syria, killing 6 allied Syrian Kurdish forces. There were no U.S. airstrikes in Iraq and Syria on Saturday and Sunday. Just hours after Friday's airstrikes, the Houthis in Yemen decided to test America's resolve, launching 7 attack drones. All were shot down by the USS Laboon and F-18 Super Hornets launched from the USS Eisenhower.
They have a finite amount of capability, and the question is how much of that capability do they want to sacrifice to a doomed cause.
On Saturday, British warplanes joined the U.S. Navy in taking out 36 Houthi targets, including Iranian anti-ship missiles on the launch pads preparing to be fired. The U.S. continued those preemptive airstrikes on Sunday. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan was asked whether the president had ruled out striking inside Iran.
I'm not going to get into what's on the table and off the table when it comes to the American response.
Defense Secretary Austin said in a statement this weekend the president has ordered additional actions to hold the IRGC and its affiliated militias responsible. As one U.S. military commander told Fox, this is not some sort of air show. We are not simply pounding sand in the desert. At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
The Senate has released a $118 billion spending plan which addresses the southern border as well as funding for Ukraine and Israel. Fox's Aisha Hasni has more from Capitol Hill.
These are not Republican talking points. This is what we have been told by the experts on the ground. It includes Border Patrol agents, officers, longtime veterans of the agency.
Moments after the House Speaker said that, the Border Patrol Union endorsed the Senate's border deal, saying while not perfect, it is a step in the right direction. On the Hill, though, the bipartisan bill getting bipartisan backlash. In the Senate, 3 on the left are already against it, and no Republicans other than Leader Mitch McConnell and lead negotiator James Lankford publicly support it. Today, NRSC Chair Steve Daines, a member of leadership, announced he's a no.
Is this a big blow?
Well, it's looking at the political aspect of it. Steve Daines has a particular job.
You think that's what's going on now, that people who are opposed to this bill, it's not really about the text or what the contents of the bill, but it's really about the politics?
I have some people that have approached me just point blank and said, it's presidential election year, don't do anything that helps Biden.
The bill secures $20 billion for the southern border, just 1/3 of the amount going to Ukraine. Negotiators say its policies will end catch and release, expand detention capacity for families, raise asylum standards, fast-track asylum claims, give out work permits to those who qualify, add $650 million for the border wall, and include a mandatory shutdown of the border when encounters hit a rolling average of 5,000 people in a single week. A shutdown that would likely happen on the first day of this law, as encounters are currently averaging around 7,000 a day. But House Republicans aren't buying it.
It's like they were trying to sell us on Gucci, but really it's the package that the guy around the corner in the alley pulled out of his trunk.
Speaker Johnson plans to take up a standalone Israel aid bill this week as Senate Leader Chuck Schumer calls the Speaker's bluff, teeing up a vote on this package at the same time.
You know that it has to be bipartisan. The bill that you passed didn't get a single Democratic vote in the House or the Senate. How are you going to get anything done?
On Capitol Hill, I'm Aisha Hasni, Fox News.
A new report says Americans pay about 3 times more for prescriptions than residents in other countries. The finding in the Rand Healthcare report shows prescription drugs are 2.8 times higher in the U.S. compared to prices in 33 other countries. Prices are even higher when it comes to brand name drugs sold in the U.S., with generic drugs more similar to average drug prices in the studied countries. The report also says a majority of the money made by drug companies comes from Americans, but only 24% of the total drugs sold actually are in the U.S.
For the second time in less than a week, an atmospheric river is pummeling the state of California with heavy rain and gusty winds. The storm left hundreds of thousands of customers without power and just did so much damage. Fox's Robert Ray has more.
Streets across Southern California quickly filling up with water on Monday as an atmospheric river hovered over the region. The slow-moving storm dropping up to 9 inches of rain in some areas, causing landslides and sending debris through neighborhoods. Multiple communities are evacuating their homes as more rain falls.
Limit non-essential travel. It is safer inside. One of those things is the amount of rainfall, the low visibility, and then also the roadways of flooding. Just limit your chances.
It's the second major storm to hit the state in less than a week. The heavy rain, combined with an already saturated ground, is causing trees and power lines to topple. In Northern California, the storm left behind widespread damage over the weekend, with wind gusts topping 80 miles per hour in some places. Hundreds of thousands of customers were left without electricity.
No lights at all, no street lights, no traffic lights, and just everybody trying to do the best they can pretty much with nothing to help guide them.
Emergency crews are out responding to calls for downed trees and power outages. But they say as the damage piles up, teams may have to prioritize calls.
It got to the point where we had to figure out what we could go to, what was a priority and what wasn't. If it didn't have power lines involved, a home involved, or completely blocking a roadway, that call could have been deferred.
State officials have mobilized over 8,500 first responders to help with these search and rescue missions while all of this rain continues. In Los Angeles, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
Wow, just some shocking images out of there at that area that really doesn't see rain at all like that.
Well, and the problem too is that, you have a high amount of rain in a small amount of time, and you have innumerable communities nestled in hills where ground destabilization is a threat to human life. Right. And nothing destabilizes ground like a deluge of rain.
Yeah, absolutely. So our thoughts with everyone dealing with that right now.
Yeah.
Well, still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, we'll have a wrap of last night's Grammy Awards.
And in sports, hear from one former Brewer Witch star who now calls UMaine Farmington home. We'll be back.
Wait, look, what are you? You're ruining the show. You look very stupid.
When you've experienced fire and smoke damage in your home, when pipes break and you have water everywhere, when you're concerned about your family's health because of mold, you need a friendly face to take care of it all. You need the friendly faces of Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. We're just a click or call away. Whatever life throws at you, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is here for you. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
CEM DP Porter Contractors has been in business for over 40 years in the Bangor area. We specialize in commercial, medical, and residential design build construction, as well as building maintenance and renovations. CEM DP Porter Contractors is currently hiring in Herman for multiple positions, including carpenters and a project manager superintendent. We offer vacation, holidays, a 3% IRA match, competitive pay, and a family-oriented environment. If interested in applying, please contact Jason at 848-7486.
I've been on both sides of the apprenticeship process as an apprentice and as the training director. As an apprentice, I know that it was a great opportunity and a great experience to go through the program. And on the sponsor side of things, I know that it's a great opportunity for us to be able to grow our workforce as well as have control on the training portion to make sure that we are training the future that we need in the field. We could use a lot more licensed electricians in the state of Maine for all the projects that are happening.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
Brandywine Graphics, Engstrom's Auto Service, First National Bank, Healing Hands Massage, Kelly Jost State Farm Insurance Agent, and Paramount Paving.
What do we got?
Porter. A lot of cats.
How many cats?
I don't know, man, like 400?
What do ladies want to watch?
Why are
pool noodles on the go?
It's a 100-year-old tortoise born in the 1920s. This guy was probably pretty racist back then.
Let's get these trash pandas in the truck, everyone.
They get in through the AC duct and hit the bar.
All these guys 21?
The Animal Control season premiere, Wednesday, March 6th on Fox.
Welcome back. King Charles III has been diagnosed with cancer, according to Buckingham Palace. The 75-year-old monarch has started treatment, the diagnosis drawing well wishes from around the world, including from President Biden. Fox's Connor Hansen has more from New York.
King Charles is stepping away from some of his official duties following the news of his diagnosis. Buckingham Palace is not saying exactly what kind of cancer he's fighting. King Charles was photographed leaving church just a day before the news of his cancer diagnosis came out.
He seemed to be looking pretty good, pretty independent. So while he is 75 years old, he's been, at least in appearance, very healthy and extremely active since he took over as the monarch.
The king's diagnosis comes after a recent hospital visit for an enlarged prostate. Buckingham Palace says his doctors found a separate issue, which turned out to be a form of cancer.
Our thoughts are with the king. This is really with the king and his family. That's incredibly sad news.
Despite a turbulent relationship in recent years, Prince Harry plans to visit his father on a trip back to the UK.
And that might be an opportunity perhaps for some reconciliation between the two.
According to Buckingham Palace, King Charles has started a regular treatment schedule. While he's postponing public duties, he will continue to work behind the scenes. This comes as another senior royal, Princess Kate, is also taking time off to recover from surgery. A statement from Buckingham Palace says King Charles wanted to share his diagnosis to prevent speculation and help others around the world affected by cancer. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, switching gears now, the 66th Grammy Awards took place Sunday at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. Hosted by Trevor Noah, the show brought a night of hit music and history-making moments. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
From those taking home Grammys Gold to those delivering show-stopping performances, here are highlights from music's biggest night.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift made history as the first artist to win Album of the Year 4 times when she took the trophy for Midnights. She was presented the award by Celine Dion, who made a surprise appearance amid her battle with stiff person syndrome. Earlier in the night, Swift won her 13th Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Album and used the milestone to announce her next album, Tortured Poets Department, is out April 19th.
Billie Eilish.
Female artists ruled the night, including the Big Four awards, with Song of the Year going to Billie Eilish for Barbie's What Was I Made For? Best New Artist went to Victoria Monet. Miley Cyrus won Record of the Year for Flowers. And before that, she won her first ever Grammy for the song, too.
How far we've come.
In special honors, Jay-Z received the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. While accepting, he called out the Grammys for his wife, Beyonce, having a record number of Grammys but never Album of the Year.
This is mine. You can't take it.
The In Memoriam tribute featured performances by artists including Stevie Wonder, Fantasia Barrino, and Annie Lennox. Lennox ended hers on a political note calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
You got a fast car.
Among the many stars who took the stage, Tracy Chapman joined Luke Combs for a moving duet of Fast Car. U2 rocked out the first ever broadcast performance from the Sphere in Las Vegas. Joni Mitchell made her Grammys performance debut. Billy Joel played his first single in 30 years and closed out the night. Artists making music history and winners taking their place in Grammys history here at the 66th Grammy Awards. In Los Angeles, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Definitely some exciting moments there. I just love seeing Tracy Chapman
on
stage with Luke Combs.
That seemed like a really, really cool moment.
Yeah, that was great.
All right, well, when we come back, we'll have our full 5-day forecast. Stay tuned.
Yep.
Another day with wind gusts near 30 miles per hour. This will begin to come down tomorrow as temperatures take a rise into the weekend, but there is some rain in the forecast. I'll tell you when I come back.
Maine Commercial Solar offers a variety of services including solar systems design, sales, maintenance, and installation. Maine Commercial Solar can help you with existing or new systems. We offer packages for installation by others, or we can help you build your own solar array, smaller residential or anything in between. Maine Commercial Solar is currently hiring in Herman for multiple positions. We offer competitive pay, a 3% IRA match, vacation, holiday time, and a family-oriented environment. If interested, please call Jason at 848-7486.
Great Scott! This is Green Bear 420 in 2010. What kind of trip is this? I gotta get back to 2023. Wait, it's 2015. So much has changed. In 2023, we had a lot more glass, t-shirts, and novelties. It's gonna take a bolt of lightning to get me home. Finally, home at last. Now Green Bear 420, Green Bear Green Care is bigger and better than ever. To be continued.
I got hurt in a car accident. Give me one good reason why I should call the Twos.
How about 3 great reasons you should call us? 1, we make it easy. You can hire us right from your phone and you never have to leave your house. 2, it's fast. Read the result. Just listen to this.
Lowry and Associates got me $195,000.
Call the Twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do? Call 222-2222.
For the first half of his life, Ed Bushy hid his inability to read from everyone until a crisis led him to confront his secret. So he called literacy volunteers at Bangor. He got a tutor and he learned to read. For the rest of his life, Ed promoted literacy to anyone who would listen. Ed's granddaughter, Kayla, was listening. Her grandfather's story inspired her to volunteer as a literacy tutor. Like Kayla, you can help us reach and teach people like Ed. The need is great, especially now. Become a tutor with literacy volunteers today.
There's a kidnapping today. 28 people.
We will get them back. Every single one of them.
Alert returns Tuesday, March 5th on Fox.
All right, high temperatures reach for but stop short of 30 today, but tomorrow we should crack it with high temperatures back up in the low, even a couple mid-30s across the area tomorrow. All right, the wind. Oh, the wind. Another day, wind gusts near 30 miles per hour, making air temperatures in the 20s feel even cooler with that cloud cover out there as well. The wind will begin to die down tomorrow. They'll be out of here basically on Wednesday, but until then, still some gusts to get through tonight, near 25 miles per hour into early parts of tomorrow. And here is our small craft advisory for wave heights out here approaching 8 to 10 feet or so through tomorrow afternoon. Okay, it's also giving us feel-like temperatures in the teens across much of the area now, and this will only come down tonight overnight. So if you're out this evening, make sure you bundle up. It's going to be pretty chilly out there this evening, low temperatures in the 20s, but feel-like temperatures hanging out in the single digits across the area. We're beginning to build some heat across the Midwest and Texas, but overall, the really cold stuff has retreated way to our north, like way to our north, and that's going to stay there, but it's just cool enough out there now. We'll get a warming trend going pretty much tomorrow into the day on Wednesday as well. As the light blue color is basically near average temperature, slightly above average, that's going to stay with us through tomorrow into Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. In fact, there could be a couple 40s in the forecast by this weekend, and then once they get here, likely to stick around for a bit too, with warmer temperatures on the way. So you can put your puffy coats away for now. The really cold stuff is kind of behind us. We'll have low temperatures tonight, hang out in the teens, but then tomorrow, recovery back up into the low, even a couple mid-30s across the region for tomorrow. Lots of cloud cover out there today. There was a little system across our region that produced a couple of flurries across our area, but overall, the dew points are so low, this air is so dry, basically we didn't get anything out of that. That's going to begin to pull away tomorrow morning, and the bigger issue, though, is between this low here and a high back off to our west. It's giving us that pressure between the two, kind of squeezing the air, giving us that wind. It's all going to go away tomorrow, though. We have some sunshine actually back in the forecast for us for tomorrow, as here's that system there, and this system here. Between the two, you squeeze the air, but sunshine, some sunshine, is back in the forecast for us for tomorrow. The rain is stuck across parts of Florida, and of course, this system here, that making national news today, with lots of rain across parts of California, that will likely be in our backyards later on the weekend. Our forecast, though, it's looking at mostly cloudy skies, still still windy tonight. Look for low temperatures down near 20, but feel like temperatures down in the single digits overnight. For tomorrow, okay, mostly cloudy skies, a bit breezy. We'll call it decreasing clouds through the afternoon. We're likely going to crack freezing tomorrow, a high temperature of 33 with a north wind 10 to 25. And then looking ahead, your 5-day forecast shows a slow temperature climb here, 35 Wednesday, Thursday 37, up near 40 on Friday, then in the 40s on Saturday with rain showers on Saturday afternoon.
Oh, so a pretty warm week on the way, all things considered.
On the way, yes indeed.
All right, we got sports coming right up next. Stay with us.
Are plumbing problems giving you a headache? Look no further than Sprague's Plumbing Solutions. With more than 10 years' experience, Sprague's Plumbing Solutions has the knowledge to assist with your plumbing issues. Whether it's a service, remodel, new build, or commercial, we've got you covered. For reliable, professional plumbing services, call Sprague's Plumbing Solutions today for a free estimate. 951-1637. We're here to make your plumbing problems disappear.
Do you have a wet basement, nasty crawl space, settling foundation, sinking concrete, or clogged gutters? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basementy. For over 30 years, thousands of homeowners throughout Maine and southeastern New Hampshire have trusted TC Hafford. Basement waterproofing, crawl space repair, stabilizing foundations, concrete leveling, and gutter installation. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems for all things basementy.
My experience with Dave's World was extraordinary from start to finish, and I have unconditionally and frequently recommended Dave's World to numerous friends. I love my Mitsubishi electric heat pumps from Dave's World. They're efficient, they're quiet, and it's been a joy. Every single solitary person I dealt with at Dave's World was world class. I'm delighted with the decision that I made. Dave's World, awesome.
On April 8th, Maine will experience a total solar eclipse. ABC 7 and Fox 22 want you to see one of nature's most beautiful and rare sights in the sky. We'll let you know the best places to see the eclipse, how to safely view it, and let you know why it's so special. We are the place for coverage of the Maine eclipse. Go to foxbangor.com and click on the Maine eclipse button to start to learn more today.
Tonight's Sports is brought to you by Healing Hands Massage in Hamden, providing professional massage services tailored specifically for their clients. Stop by Healing Hands Massage today. You'll thank yourself later.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Let's start with some hockey. Maine hockey going on the road this past weekend. They fell to Northeastern on Friday before bouncing back with a big win over UMass on Saturday. The Black Bears winning 1-0 on the road against number 11 UMass, and with that shutout, freshman goalie Albin Boya was named Hockey East Defender of the Week. Boya becomes the first goaltender to shut out the Minutemen this season and the first one to shut them out at home since 2021. The Black Bears are now ranked 7 in the nation, so moving down just one spot, and that sets up a top 10 matchup at the Alphon this weekend as 10th-ranked Providence comes up for 2 games Friday and Saturday. Staying with some positive news out of Maine athletics, Adriana Smith bringing in some hardware as well, being named the America East Player of the Week. Maine went 2-0 last week with wins over UMass Lowell and Bryant. Smith scored 25 points and 8 rebounds, 5 assists in their win over the Riverhawks, and then flirted with a triple-double on the road Saturday over Bryant with 16 points, 13 boards, and 8 assists. It's her 3rd time taking home the honor this season, 7th in her career, and Maine has the rest of the week off before taking on New Hampshire on Saturday at the Pit, tip-off scheduled for 2 p.m. All right, let's stay with some basketball now. This past Friday, UMaine Farmington grabbed a big win over Husson in Newman Gymnasium, and making his return to the greater Bangor area for the first time as a Beaver was former Brewers standout Brock Flagg. Brock won the state title with the Witches in 2023, assisting on that game-winning bucket right there. He didn't know if he was going to play college ball or not, but ultimately decided on UMF. Brock says his biggest adjustment to playing college ball was being around a new group of teammates and coaches for the first time in a while, but says they are all gelling pretty nicely.
My whole life, I've been playing with those kids, and not just basketball, like football, AAU, basketball. I've been playing with those kids I went to high school with for 12 years, so to kind of come in and have kids from Connecticut and Colorado, it's definitely new, but I mean, I love my team. They're awesome.
On the court, he says it took him a bit to get used to the speed and the physicality of the next level, something a lot of freshmen go through, but it seems like he's overcome those woes. He says he can't wait for the next 3 years in Farmington. He started 5 games for the Beavers so far, including their win over Husson on Friday. And that win, thanks in part to a big defensive play from him in the last minute, all in a game he had circled on his calendar for a while.
I was so pumped for this one. I had my aunt, my uncle, my cousin. Like, it was just, couldn't make it up. It was awesome. I was waiting all year to come to this one. I mean, like, I played Maine high school basketball, and then now I played Division III basketball in Maine. I'm not exactly, in the NBA, but to just see, like, all the kids that are on, like, the Brewer middle school team, like, high-five me at halftime. I mean, it's just awesome to know, like, maybe I meant something to Brewer while I was there for 4 years.
All right, always good to catch up with Brock. Let's keep it moving now. Time for some hoops. Last week before the tournament, Class C boys matchup here over in East Corinth. Central Red Devils, they are hosting the Lee Academy Pandas. Second quarter is where we'll start. Devils down. Jackson Pollock over to Aiden Gregory, who finishes at the rim for 2. Nice move there. On the other end now, look at this move from Finn Knowles. The crossover, takes the bump, and finishes off the glass. That's a nice shot and 1. Right before the half, here's Pollock. Again, he finds Gregory, and again, he rises up above the D and banks that one home. Third quarter now. Lee with it. Knowles drives. He finds Andrew Glidden for the straightaway 3, and that one is money. And then here come the Pandas again. Knowles feels the double, gets it to an open Glidden in the corner for another. Lee wins 67-50. All right, for some other scores from around the area, Bangor Christian boys with a win over Jonesport Beals. Herman girls with a win over Central. Dexter outlasts Orono 26-16 in a defensive matchup. And then Bangor Christian girls with a close 34-32 win over Jonesport Beals. All right, let's move on now. It is nearly baseball season. I know it may not feel like it, but Maine baseball starts their 2024 campaign next Friday. Maine softball is in action this weekend down in Boston. It's almost like a regional holiday. Monday was Truck Day. The Sox packed up that truck with all their equipment this morning and shipped it down to JetBlue Park in Florida, a.k.a. Fenway South. Can't forget the gum and the sunflower seeds. Pitchers and catchers report next week. The full squad reports on the 19th, and then the first spring training game is on February 23rd against Boston University with the Orioles on the 24th. All right, right around the corner. That means spring's right around the corner, too. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
PDQ Door presents CHI Doors. CHI Doors are tough, dependable, engineered for fit and function. CHI Doors from PDQ Door, Hamden, Rockport, Bath, Waterville, Holton, Presque Isle, and PDQDoor.com.
Jerry's Used Cars has been a family-owned business for more than 30 years, currently in Corinna and Vesey. However, we have changed a little as we are no longer just a buy here, pay here dealership. We now have access to outside financing and also carry utility trailers. We would be happy to assist you with your next vehicle purchase. And don't forget, here at Jerry's Used Cars, we offer an extended warranty. So give us a call at either our Corinna or Vesey location.
Renovating or building new, you'll find a wide selection of high-performing, energy-efficient, and beautiful windows and doors at Hammond Lumber Company. Your Hammond sales representative will walk you through the showroom displays and help you choose options to create a personalized custom look. Free in-home measurement is available, and Hammond can deliver your order from any of their locations across Maine and New Hampshire. Bring your vision and enjoy better light and added security and energy savings with quality windows and doors from Hammond Lumber Company.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC 7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
Cormier's Bus Service, Healing Hands Massage, Jackson's Automotive, Scott's Recreation, Silver Fox Automotive, and Tilton's Auction.
I started smoking at age 16. I was scared when they found cancer in my lung.
Lung cancer, still the deadliest cancer in Maine, but a new test can find it earlier when treatment is more successful.
They were able to remove my cancer and I went back to work, but now I'm retired.
If you're age 55 or older and smoke now or smoked heavily in the past, ask your provider if lung cancer screening is right for you. And learn more at screenmaine.org.
Always standing ready to answer the call to service. Service your garage door. PDQ Door. PDQDoor.com.
The XFL and the United States Football League have announced plans to merge.
Let's fall out, baby! The United Football League kicks off March 30th.
Welcome back. A shark fishing expert single-handedly reeled in a 1,200-pound, 12-foot great white shark. Check this out. Blaine Kenny and his partner went on a fishing tour group in Pensacola. The team set sail in Navarre Beach, around 25 miles east of Pensacola, to catch biggest sharks possible. They used big baits like a 150-pound swordfish head and the head of an 80-pound yellowfin tuna. Once they caught their monster shark, it took an hour to reel it in, since the shark would pull back out into the water. Kenny eventually pulled that massive animal onto shore. It was later released back into the water once Kenny removed the hook used to reel it in. Just crazy stuff there.
Playing with fire there, I would say. Anyway, a woman from Hamden is using her love of felting to make one-of-a-kind children's books. Hillary Dow is a self-published author and illustrator who uses sheep's wool to make all her book characters and illustrations come to life. Our Jody Hersey has more.
You can go like this and it pokes right through.
Hillary Dow loves felting. She started using a felting kit a few years ago, and her creativity grew from there.
So felting is a process of using a barbed needle to go back and forth through fibers. I generally use sheep's wool, and when that barbed needle goes through the fibers, it just kind of makes those fibers lock together. So the more you felt, so the more you poke it with your needle, the denser and firmer and smaller the wool becomes.
Dow says you can have fluffy, airy pieces or dense, tightly felted pieces. She likes to incorporate both when she makes mermaids, fairies, and other creatures. Once complete, she photographs her characters for her illustrations.
The characters in my books have often been inspired by either our two children, Eva and Tyler, or nieces and nephews. My parents are in the first book as Bopshi and Jarji.
Dow has written, illustrated, and self-published 3 books already.
Everything that I saw, there was nothing like the artwork I was making.
Her 4th book, called Flock of Rock, is about a group of sheep that form a rock band. It is scheduled to be published in the spring. All of Dow's books can be found and purchased at bindingtales.com or at the Maine Micro Artisan Shop in the Bangor Mall.
It's cool to be doing something that's really different.
In Hamden, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
You know, I think the books are works of art in and of themselves, but then what she's creating to inspire and sort of base the illustrations on, just extraordinary as well. And that her use of textiles, I mean, oh my goodness.
It's incredible. It almost makes it jump out of the page at you.
It's exactly what it does.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it for us. Good night.
Good night, everyone.